Welcome back to another amazing episode of American Heroes Outdoors.
Boy, this week I am excited. We're going to be going to Clark's Outfitters, Fly-In Outfitters in Canada, and we are going to do a show with a group of Minnesota veterans, some whom I served with overseas and throughout my entire career. So much happened in this thing that we originally thought it'd be one show, but it's going to be two. Some walleye fishing in Canada and some great opportunity with some great American soldiers. This is it.
And we also highlight our next Scheels Hometown Hero, Jay Strande.
It's going to be a great 2 episodes, so stay tuned.
American Heroes Outdoors shares the stories of our nation's true heroes, a documentation of journey, commitment, struggle, and healing. A glimpse into the sacrifice and bravery of our service men and women. This is American Heroes Outdoors.
Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to Vermilion Bay, Ontario, Canada. American Heroes Outdoors, we're up here with Mandatory Fun Outdoors. We're at Clark's Air Base right now at their Northern Lights Resort, getting ready to fly into Latrell Lake Lodge with 6 veterans from Minnesota and Iowa. This is going to be a great trip. I mean, this is one of those trips that we all look forward to. It's a fly-in trip. We're getting our gear loaded up right now in Wade. Everybody's excited. Got some great stories to tell. We're going to be up here a week. So a week of walleye and pike fishing. You're going to want to watch this show and stay tuned.
My name is Chip Rankin. Currently, I have the privilege of serving as the commander for 1st Brigade, 34th Armored Brigade Combat Team. Currently, I'm a colonel, so I'd be a 06, and I've been a colonel for just about 2 years. Well, unfortunately, this spring we had a tragedy in our community back in Glenwood, Starbuck area. His name is Officer Josh Owens. Josh was unfortunately tragically killed in the line of duty as a police officer for the Polk County Sheriff's Department. And they put together a trip for him and his wife and surviving son. And unfortunately couldn't attend, so I got a phone call asking if I could possibly ask some veterans if they could go on a trip. You know, I made a lot of phone calls, made a lot of texts, and just a lot of coordination, and it just seemed to work out. And the guys I got right here today is 2 of them were battalion commanders. They served in Iraq. And then we have 2 recent Army veterans that just retired. And then I have a mentor, a coach, and Mike Olson, who just retired from being a school principal at Little Falls for 35 years, and he was my wrestling coach when I was in high school, and he had served 12 years in the Army. I'm really lucky that I got to get these guys here. What a day. You know, when I was a younger guy in my early 20s, I had an opportunity as a brand new teacher to come up to Lakeland, Ontario, but never an opportunity to come to a beautiful resort. The first thing, hey, you guys eat breakfast yet? We hadn't yet, but they're already making breakfast for us, and you just felt like right at home. And then we got on the boats, and 3 hours later, 60 fish. I was lucky enough to catch one over 20 inches, and it's been a tremendous day.
My name is Tom Hipskin. Well, I grew up in East Grand Rapids, Michigan. Enlisted in the Army in 1988. I served during the invasion of Iraq. I worked with the Free Iraqi Fighters in 5th Special Forces Group and did the invasion of Iraq, which was a significant event in my life. I've been retired for about a year now, and to be honest, I'm enjoying retirement. I do a little pheasant guiding in South Dakota. I hunt and fish. I do all the things I didn't get to do for all those years. And I'm really, right now, I'm just seeking what is the next adventure. And I think it's important to think of, proud of my military service. Did over 30 years, but that was a snapshot of my life. There's a lot more life in front of me, and I'm just trying to find the next adventure and find something meaningful to do. There's a lot more life in front of you than behind you. So get out there and live the life worthy of the sacrifices for those who didn't come home. So I think it's important to get out there and enjoy life and live a life worth their sacrifice.
Yeah, well, I went in as a private, and I became a mortarman, went to Fort Benning, did a stint in Panama in the early 90s, served with Red Bulls there in Iraq. I ended up getting my CDL, and I ended up driving truck for a few years. And it was a real good gig for me because I was basically my own boss pretty much. It's all been good after retirement, watching my kids grow up and have grandkids, enjoying life, and so happy to be on this trip. It's just been kind of a blessing that we were able to all get together on this trip, and share some times on the water. Well, I think the value is to reconnect with some of the guys that shared some of the similar experiences. It's the love of the outdoors and the love of fishing that brings a lot of people together, and just sharing experiences on the water to just get your mind off other stuff,
American Heroes Outdoors is brought to you by Skeeter Boats and Yamaha Outboards, Scheels, Disabled American Veterans, Woodland Resort, Smoky Hills Outdoor Store and Ice Castle Fish Houses, Minn Kota and Hummingbird, Innovativesign&graffix, S&S Promotional Group, and Base Camp Country Real Estate.
Designed for deep water and big waves, the Skeeter WX series offers no compromise performance, and the Solaris series brings the whole family together. Proven with 21 consecutive NMMA Consumer Satisfaction Awards. When you're ready to rule the water regardless of the conditions, the WX series will take you where you want to go in style, comfort, and safety. Bringing your family closer together fishing or skiing, the Solaris series can do it all. Skeeter, it's more than just a boat, it's a lifestyle.
Jeff and Kathy live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we've been married for 44 years.
We met each other in our senior year of high school, and we've been together ever since. We have 3 boys, 3 grandkids, and we just recently retired.
Well, I've always wanted to own a lodge up here, and had another opportunity earlier in life, but we were raising a family and it wasn't a good time, so we passed on it. And after our kids were mostly raised, then we came across this and purchased it. Trail Lake Lodge, as far as what I know, is the property was purchased in 1959 and the lodge was built in 1961. A fellow by the name of Bull Miller, William Miller, but everybody called him Bull, built this lodge, and he ran it until his death in 1984. And then his boys took it over in 1994 and then sold it to us in 2002.
When we bought it, we kind of had a talk, and he said, if we're going to do this, you'll have to stay home and run the business, and I'll go back and forth. So the initial plan, we had a 5-year plan, we'd sell the business and I'd be able to be here, and it just did not work out that way. 22 years I had to wait to be able to come up here first season, and he told me, bring warm clothes, it's gonna be so cold. Well, when I got up here, it was in the 70s. I wish that, looking back, I wished I could have enjoyed this with him the whole ride through, but it just didn't work out. But that's all right. I am having a good time helping him now, and we work well together. I think we do. Do we?
We do.
Okay. So anyway, here we are. When he thought about wanting to do this way back when, when the opportunity came, I said, just go for it. We'll figure out all the hard details later. And in my opinion, when you're married to someone, you just help each other reach their dreams. And this has been something he's wanted to do for a long time.
Very good group. Very well-mannered, and it's been very enjoyable.
I think they're wonderful people. And, when they all got off the plane, knowing that they were military individuals, the first thing I wanted to say was, first of all, thank you for your service. His dad was in the Air Force and my dad was in the Navy, so I respect that and the American flag and all that. And his dad, when he retired, was a two-star general. And in their household, what Dad said was gospel. You didn't argue. So with Jeff, he is kind of like his dad. Sometimes I'll have to say, okay, Joe Thomas, settle down. But for the most part, he makes me laugh every day, and we have been on quite a ride in our married life, in our family life, and we're very blessed to have 3 boys, and they all love him very much.
She's always been there for me.
You're gonna make me cry.
Okay. She's
We've
stuck
been through a
beside
lot.
me all the way.
We've been through a lot.
My goal is to treat people the way I want to be treated when I go on vacation. If you're happy, I'm happy.
And I believe he's very successful at that with the way he treats the customers. Once they get here, we take care of them. The meals he prepares. I just think he does a very good job.
Come to Latrell Lake Lodge. We'll treat you right.
Most definitely.
I think probably the one thing I would say is understand the veteran community is stronger for our service, and to celebrate that. And I think that's the biggest thing that the civilian world needs to understand. We're not broken, and we're stronger for our service, and celebrate that. Well, there's a great story about Tim and I when we served in the 82nd Airborne Division, where we jumped in one night and he separated his shoulder down onto his rib cage. Toughest human being I've ever seen that night. He carried his weapon, his ruck, and his parachute all the way to the turning point and looked at me and he said, "Hey man, I think I screwed up my shoulder." And I looked at him, I said, "Yeah dude, I think you did." And they immediately medevaced him off the drop zone.
I'm also here with a former buddy that I met back in the 82nd, Tom Hipskin. He's just, we bonded years ago. Never forget the first time I met him, was standing in line, after pre-jump, and we jumped together for the first time in the 82nd. We've been friends ever since. Like if you get the opportunity to do something like this, no matter if the folks that you don't know any of the folks that are actually on the trip, we all hold a special bond, and that's our service. And we're all there's a brotherhood that comes with our military service. And so I just encourage anybody to take advantage of an opportunity like this to come and share this experience in the outdoors.
I think coming to these, you just completely get away. The Wi-Fi is gone. You're just out there in Mother Nature, and you get a chance to just reset yourself. There are a tremendous amount of resources that have been applied to help families and soldiers get through tough issues. I think when you get an opportunity like this, a lot of work's coming to it, and it's bigger than yourself. But you need to use all your resources, and you don't know when it might impact you. It might be a conversation around a campfire that 3 months later, because now you have a relationship or a connection, prevents you from doing something that we don't ever want to see happen. But I'm a text, a way to help anybody that needs anything, and I think you got to take advantage of that. Use your resources, because a lot of people are doing everything they can to help, even if it's the smallest thing. One of the things I would share that I'd go back to is, when I was a lowly captain, I was like the personnel officer for a unit getting ready to go to Iraq, and at the time I got to know Ben Carell, and I didn't know him because he was a battalion commander of a unit from Iowa, and I'm from Minnesota, and I got to meet Bill Leader, but because my battalion commander, Greg Parks, they were all kinds of friends, and it's amazing because we went, that was in 2005, it's 2023. I mean, like, that's 17 years, and now I'm a colonel, and they're just recently retired. Heck, I started as a private in 1994, and I'm working on year 30. The relationships I've made along the way, and the friendships, they're incredible.
Hey everybody, what a day. The second day up here in Canada with Mandatory Fun Outdoors, American Heroes Outdoors. We've been out with vets for the last day and a half. We've been averaging 100, 150 fish days. Canada is simply incredible. We're at Latrell Lake Lodge. We're up in the middle of nowhere, float plated in. And I tell you what, Jeff and Kathy, our hosts up here at Latrell Lake Lodge, they are incredible. They are feeding us well. We are having some great camaraderie, some great time on the water, obviously some competitions. So stay tuned, because we've got a few more days here and we're looking for some other fish.
DAV of Minnesota Outdoor Program. The DAV of Minnesota, fulfilling the promises to the men and women who served. The healing powers of nature is vital for veterans when they can no longer get themselves into the outdoors or just don't have the resources to do so. DAV of Minnesota designs programs to bring veterans together in a natural setting. Visit davmn.org.
And now it's time for our next Mankato Scheels Hometown Hero, Jay Strande.
Jay will tell you it was his job, but no, he's a hero. Being deployed as many times as he was a hero in the fire department. I mean, anybody who shows up for calls, you're a hero. You don't need the recognition. You don't do it for the recognition.
Yeah, it's tough. It's funny, he's got kind of this tough guy persona, right? But see right through that business. So he's a teddy bear.
He had left home right after high school and started his career, and he's turned into the best man in the world.
Welcome to Scheels Hometown Heroes.
Scheels Hometown Heroes is a way for us to say thanks to those that serve our country and our community.
And are still giving back to others today.
We honor your service by sharing your stories.
From all of us at Scheels, thank you for your service.
Hi Jay, my name's Betsy. I'm here with the Mankato Scheels, and we're really excited to present you with this Hometown Hero Award. Thank you for all you do. And then we got a little goodie bag for you, and on your behalf, we are making a donation to the Eagle Lake American Legion, because we know you do a lot with them. So there's that.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Congratulations.
So I joined the Army in January 1985, January 31st, and I retired November 30th, 2019. So I was 2 months shy of 35 years, 34 years, 10 months.
And of course, he was raised with a father who was full-time National Guard.
So that's all I knew. He was worked out at Camp Grafton, North Dakota, my whole childhood life. He actually retired shortly after I warrant officer in 2004. So most of my adult life, my dad was in the military, but I was a maintenance guy, so I was fixing the trucks. But I had to be licensed on all the vehicles, so I got to drive a lot of the stuff too. They take me on convoys and we drive into Bosnia and deliver tanks and armored personnel carriers and supplies and trucks and you name it. So that was basically my first 2 deployments, not really combat. And then my first combat deployment was 06, 07, I went to Iraq. I ran a shop, I had about 40 people. One shop was a maintenance shop, that was bulk of my soldiers. We fixed blown up trucks. They bring us a truck that was hit up by an IED and we tear it down to as far as we could, weld it back together, put a new engine, front end, whatever we had to put in it, fix the armor, and send it back to the unit that it came from. And my second deployment was 2010-11, I went to Afghanistan. I was in charge of 47 contractors and 2,600 contractors that worked for them contracts. And I supported all of southern Afghanistan with equipment. So if you were Canadian, British, American, Bulgarian, and you needed equipment, you came and saw me and we issued the equipment to you. And then my last deployment was 2016-17, and that was my last deployment. When I lived in Pine Island, I lived one house away from the fire department. I applied. I'd lived there for 6 years, didn't know a lot of people. I figured this would be one way to get back to the community and 2, to get to know people. And I did that for 13 years.
Even during that time that he was firefighter, he was also coaching his kids' teams. So he volunteer coached for football, softball, wrestling. He did really love being a firefighter, and the downfall is once we got together, that job scared me worse than the military. Whereas with the fire calls and stuff, you don't know what they're getting into or how often or that type of thing. It could be an everyday thing.
When you get on the fire truck or a rescue rig, the loved ones don't know if you're coming home after the call. There are dangerous calls, there are dangerous road calls, icy accident, highway accidents. There's a lot of worry for a family.
He's an amazing patriot. I mean, I think that's obvious, right? That's part of the reason you're here and we're doing this today. Loves his country, loves his family, loves his friends, and I'm fortunate to have him as a friend.
I guess the main thing is stand behind your soldier, your firefighter, and be there for them because they go through a lot and sometimes they need to talk to somebody. So be their support.
Wow, what a show. The fishing was just amazing. It was one of those things where, but I will say the camaraderie was better. No, it was amazing because I got to serve with Major General Ben Carell and I got to serve with Brigadier General Bill Leader. They were definitely peers of mine as I was growing up. So I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous going into that whole show. But Chip Rankin is just a great American, and he pulled that group together, and then we took Sam with us. So taking Sam with us, well, that just adds another dimension that everybody loves. So I can't wait till you see the next episode, because the next episode is going to focus on that small group. They went on to an outpost lake and spent some time out there, and it'll be quite exciting.
I'm looking forward to it. Stay tuned, everyone.